it's Guido coming after the Tactics Talk. Thanks for tuning in and welcome back. On this episode, we have Major Tom and his Object 140 Tier 10 Russian medium tank. Top tier in a 357 on Mountain Pass, spawned into the south. Major Tom sent me this and he said, hey, what could I have done better here? I think I did pretty good. And oftentimes when you have a good game and the team wins, it's hard to break out what it is you could have done better. Sometimes it's more obvious than others. But let's break this down to the very beginning of the game, because everything you do in the game builds on the rest of the game. And sometimes you get to the end, you go, wow, I wish I hadn't done X. If I hadn't done X, then we'd have won. Or if I hadn't done X towards the end of the game, then I would have lived. Even though we won, I would have lived, that kind of thing. Well, how about back it up to the very beginning? Because the game starts at the countdown when you start looking at the rolls on each side and what's going on. So let's take a look at this real quick as he is headed over here to the southwest. They've got a 430U and a bunch of TDs. The Grill is fast. The Scorpion is fast. The Sturv is fast. The Uds is fast. They have a 13105, which is a good scout, and a couple mediums, which are decent with the view range. So crossing, right off the bat, we know that crossing right here is going to be potentially a problem, and I can take a lot of damage doing so. So as I am headed here to the southwest, which I think is a good initial position for him, let's take a look at where he goes. First of all, number one, put your turret towards the threat, so that's good. We're looking at the Scorpion, and we got spotted. All right, so we got spotted. Look at the line we took. If I would have considered all of those possibilities right there, I probably would have come right across the edge of this and not come across and cut it short. The Scorpion's even shorter. He's getting torn up, and I would have headed back this way. Potentially, if I didn't get spotted by about here, then I could cut back across and come over this way. I also know I'm fast enough that more than likely, even though I'm taking this wider line, I'm going to be able to get to this corner before somebody gets to this hill because I am in a Object 140. What does this cost us? It costs us 356 hit points from a Sturv. So there we go. We've already given up 356 hit points just trying to get to our initial position. Even though our decision for the initial position is a good decision, and even though we came close to running a good line, we cut it a little bit short and took a hit. That was good. You're coming in there, 430U. He's not even looking. All right, backing up. This thing reloads really fast. If I'm coming around trying to get my free shot on you, and I see as you're backing up, you're not locking your turret forward with the right mouse button and looking right where the threat's coming from, that's going to entice me even more to come around this corner. You're about to reload. Let's see how this goes. You get your shot in, but you could have been there much sooner had you been looking at him. And then, as you shot him, you could have drove straight forward and tried to get back into that little nook and make that shot much harder. So you just kind of back straight out, give him a nice, easy shot, and there is no incentive to him, based on your fast reloading gun being pointed right at him, to not do what he just did. So we get a shot. There we go. This is nice. And I think you did about what you could do. One thing you can do there as well is you can shift your hole right and left to force them to try to shoot into one of your tracks with heat right there, or at least to get into the track and not into your tank. Well, this was an interesting decision right here. I see what you're doing, but the Pershing isn't looking at you. And this guy just shot you, and he's on a long reload. I think I might have gone further forward and tried to put a shot into the 140 instead of taking the shot into the Pershing. Because what's going to happen is exactly what happens here. You've taken your shot. He's reloaded. He's going to come in here and try to get his free shot on you. And there's another shot, although you block it, so that's good. Nice shift to the right to make that shot harder. And now you're dueling with this 430. He's attempting to reverse side scrape, which goes poorly for him. Immediately right here as he fired, I'd go after him. Look at your reload. And we don't do it, which, unknown why. I assume it's because you're worried either about artillery or maybe artillery and the Pershing, but I would have definitely gone for him right there. And you could have done the same thing you did before, where you come around a little bit and see if you can get into the Pershing and get a shot on him. And it looks like maybe that was a good decision because there is a Progetto back there, though he's behind the rock. So that last comment is me being very aggressive, which may have gone poorly. But this is really well done right here. Right up into that, and that is the accuracy of this gun and the reload capability of this gun. You light him on fire, he fixes it, but down he goes. So well done. probably lost some more hit points there than we should have on one of those hits. Now here's another interesting one. These guys are kind of sitting back, and now we see that we have the Carnarvon and the Pershing. Now I want you to watch how you do this. I'd have immediately taken that shot. I'd have stopped rocking back and forth. He's not looking at me. I'd have aimed right for that back sprocket, fired, and got out of there. But what happens is we kind of, and then, there we go, and then didn't work. Okay, one of the problems there is, it's kind of difficult. If you just shifted your hull this way to make that shot more difficult for him, you might have had the Progetto come around and shoot you in the side. So that could have been about the best you might have been able to do. The Progetto is looking at you. This guy does reload fast, looking for that track, and you take another shot from the Carnarvon and now the Pershing. So unknown if that's a little misunderstanding about the reload capability of the Carnarvon, but any of those shots poking out of there should have been very fleeting, very quick, and you just expose yourself a little bit more to a rapidly reloading tank like the Carnarvon and giving him side shots. So we're down some more hit points and we're down to a one shot. And that really, once we get to a one shot, and not quite to the Carnarvon, but close, once we get to a one shot to the tanks that are around us, that limits our opportunities greatly. Carnarvon takes a hit, that's helpful. He's poking out, this is nicely done as well. Sticks himself out too far, and now you just own him with the reload. He doesn't have the repair capability to get inside your shot loop right there. And you keep tracking him. That's very excellently done right there. Down goes that guy. Now I've got a Sturv and a Progetto. Sturv's there. He takes a shot. It looks like he shot, but I don't know if he actually did. I guess he did. No, he didn't. So that's one you got to be careful with. Got a little bit lucky on the bounce on that one. Sometimes it's hard to tell who shot right. There, it looks like there was an incoming shot, and he didn't actually put an outcoming shot or an outgoing shot. The AMX 30 is going to come around, and you guys can double team this dude. Put your shot on him, you take him down, and things are looking good. All right, fantastic. So we're going to go over this way. Game is still in the balance. Got a T95 and a prototype moving up. So let's say in there, had you done some of those things I talked about, you were able to preserve 2 shots of damage. So you were more like 900 hit points. We come around here and we see the prototype, and you shoot into the turret. So that's fine. He doesn't see you because you're using the bush right. And then you're going to shoot into the turret again. What I don't understand here is I would have definitely, let's see if we can get this, there we go. I would have definitely been shooting into his side. I may have actually been going for, it looks like he's actually hold down against something. So maybe towards the back sprocket right there. Try to track that guy, but he's well over angled, and that turret is much better armored, and it's a weirder little target to hit. I'll spit it out momentarily, than the whole tank is, because what you're going to find here is you're going to bounce one. Oh geez, and now and now we've gone to it. So this guy would have been dead in one more shot, and down he goes. Here comes the T95. I would go for that back sprocket and try to track him, because he's really pushing on my 100. Again, front sprocket, back sprocket, one of them. Stop him from turning. All right, you should have known you were going to get spotted right there. This was very dangerous standing in. He's looking right at you. There's no reason right now for you to come around this corner and let him see you. The 100 is pushing up behind him. The 100 is your buddy at this point. Stay behind the rock and make the T95 make a decision. But as it is, you poke around and you give him a shot. And down you go. So whether that got into your turret or there was, doesn't look like a, yeah, there's the line coming in. So it went right through your turret. Your note said, I don't understand how he pinned that, or I'm surprised. Look, he's firing APCR. It's got very high pin. He may have just gone into your little hatch up there with just a purely lucky shot. The point of all that is you did not need to come around that corner right then. The 100 would have come around and start punishing him. As soon as he started to turn, then you're going to have your way with him. The 100 on one side, you on the other, tracking him, and that would have been done. Back it up to everything else I said. If you'd had enough hit points left here, you'd have taken that shot anyway and been able to continue to fight. So it was a great game, 5,959, right? That's better than I do 99 point whatever % of the time. Maybe even more than that, quite frankly. It's a very high damage game. 1,999 blocked, 90 blocked, 455 assist. All in all, well done. Some really great fighting down on the corner, some smart decision making in there. But when you ask the question, all right, I had a great game, what can I do better? That's, you have to get into those kind of nut cutter things where Okay, Guido, whatever. Maybe he would have still got hit crossing over there, even if he went tighter to the wall. But those are the things you have to do in order to move that from the 5,959 damage to the 6,500 or the 7,000 damage game, or at least in this case being alive at the end of the game. It's very small margins in there when you get to top tier gameplay where you're doing really well. In order to do just that much more well, it's very small margins in there, and it all has to do with decision making, how many hit points I've traded, how many hit points I have at the end of the game, or during the whole game, to be quite frank, to affect the rest of the game. So anyway, I hope a couple of those things help you right there. Thanks for sending that in, by the way. That's a great replay. Nicely done. What was it? 6 kills? 6 kills? Object 140, 5,959. Later.